All right, let's get this video started. Hi everyone, welcome to the Modern Sophisticate channel. My name is Oyin Kosola and it is such a pleasure to have you here today. This video is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very different video than my other videos because, so usually when I have videos, I know the topic I'm going to talk about and I write down the things that I would like to say, and then obviously I get in front of the camera and I talk about them. But this video is going to be different because while I do know the topic that I would like to talk about, I have not written anything down. And so this is going to be a conversation that is from my heart to yours. And hopefully you glean something from it. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So it was my birthday recently, and around my birthday, I'd like to have a life audit, is pretty much what it's called. I like to go over different aspects of my life, so emotional, career, financial, personal, intimate, family-wise. I like to go through different areas in my life and see how I am. What are things that I could do differently? I recently turned 28, and so when I was doing that audit, I was also asking myself, what are things that I experienced in 27 that I would like to re-experience in 28? What are things that I experienced at 27 that I definitely don't want to repeat in 28? And while I was going through the life audit and going through the different aspects and different facets of my life, it dawned on me that there seemed to be things that I was really great at, like really good at maintaining. And then there were aspects of my life where I just was not, they were not as great. If I'm being honest, they were not as great. And it was then that I realized it was because I was showing up as a different person in these aspects of my life. Right? So for example, there are parts of my life that I show up as confident and I'm sure and I'm assertive and I know what it is that I want and I know how I want it and I say it and I get those things. And then there are parts in my life where I'm not too sure, I'm kind of shaky, kind of like, sure, but let's try it out and see what happens. I'm kind of like all over the place, not really confident about what it is that I want. And because I'm not confident about what it is that I want, because I don't know what I want, I rarely, if ever, get those things. And it was through that life audit that dawned on me. And then I was like, there has to be a word for this. There has to be a word for this thing that I'm experiencing where it seems like I'm acting as a different person in different aspects of my life. And the word that came to me was integrity. And that's going to be the topic of our conversation today, is integrity and maintaining the integrity of your life, and showing up as who you are throughout in all the aspects of your life, not watering down parts of yourself in different aspects of your life. So before we get into the part where I talk about what it is that I want to talk about, I want to define the word for us. I think that it's important that we are on the same understanding or at the same understanding of the word. So I have my iPad here and I have searched up the word integrity, and as with any word, there are different definitions to the word integrity, but the second definition that is on Google is what caught my eye. So I'm going to read that to you. So it says, integrity is the state of being whole and undivided. The words that can be used that are similar or used interchangeably to integrity include unity, unification, wholeness, coherence, cohesion, undividedness, togetherness, solidarity, collision. The opposite of integrity is division. Y'all. Y'all. Okay. Like I mentioned, there are other definitions to the word integrity, and you guys can go and search the word up for yourself. But that is the definition that I would like to focus on right now because I think it's what's most pertinent and related to what I would like to talk about. So, like I mentioned, it says undivided. The state of being whole and undivided. And like I was saying, like in that life audit, I saw how divided I was within myself. So how could I possibly get what I want if there is division within myself? There's the saying that a house divided cannot stand. So how am I supposed to stand? How am I supposed to achieve everything that I would like if I am showing up in my life as a different person? If who I say I am in one aspect of my life is not who I actually am in other aspects of my life. This was a huge, when I tell you this, finding this out was really, so part of it was painful, right? And then the second part of it was like it was almost like somebody turned a light on and my mind was blown, because it just made so much sense as to why parts of my life was. Now, let me be honest. I think life is great. I am enjoying my life. I'm thriving. I'm happy. But there are parts of my life that I just would like to get, I'd like to get under control. And it made sense as to why I wasn't getting what I wanted, because I am not being fully who I am. I'm not showing up fully as that woman who understands what her ideals are, who has an ideal, who has her ideals and her values across the board are the same, right? Across the board, and is showing up across the board in those different aspects of her life in that way. So for example, when it comes to working out, I'm extremely disciplined. Extremely disciplined. Like when it comes to working out and eating well, extremely disciplined. When it comes to other parts of my life, like budgeting, I'm not as disciplined. You know, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I could buy it. It works. But let's get it. You know, why? Why not? You know, I'm not as disciplined. And I think that being a woman of integrity is maintaining your ideals regardless of what area it is in your life you're in. So whether it's career, finances, intimate relationships, family, personal, your mental health, your emotional state, when it comes to different aspects of your life, but also when it comes to the person standing in front of you, right? So I think that I hear the word a lot, boundaries. So like, oh, you know, so-and-so, you have to maintain your boundaries. But if you don't have, and a lot of the times when it comes to our boundaries, we tend to make that other people's things to do. So-and-so needs to maintain my boundary. Like, you have to do this in order to maintain my boundary, but your boundaries are yours to maintain and yours only to maintain. Think of it as a hedge, right? You maintain your hedge. Like if you have a house, you're in charge of maintaining your grass and your hedge so that other people can't get in. You can't ask other people to maintain the hedge so that they don't get in. It doesn't make any sense. So I think of integrity as me maintaining, it's not necessarily boundaries, but me maintaining the values and the ideals that I have for myself throughout my life, and regardless of it is that I'm dealing with. Another example that I'd like to use is treating men differently based off of what he has and who he is. Right? So he might be able to do certain things for you. And so you treat him differently compared to another guy that you've dealt with because he couldn't do those things for you. That's not acting in integrity, because I'm a woman who's honest regardless of who it is I'm dealing with. So regardless of if a guy can do something for me or if he cannot, I remain honest because that is my ideal for myself. Now that's a woman of integrity. I wanted to kind of use that example, not because, and I don't like to necessarily talk about guys on my channel because I think this channel is more, it kind of transcends talking about men and, you know, our relationships with men. But I do understand that we have relationships with men. You know, it's just our nature. This channel is more of developing yourself as a woman, but wanted to use that example because I think that it's very relatable. So maintaining those ideals and maintaining those values for yourself, regardless of who is in front of you, is going to be the most important thing for you in order to get what it is that you want. When you become a woman of integrity, when you maintain your ideals and your values, regardless of who is standing in front of you, regardless of the relationship you have with the person, because I think that a lot of times when it comes to our boyfriends or spouses or our family members, we tend to waver when it comes to our ideals. We tend to waver when it comes to our values. And it is because, and have you ever noticed anytime that you waver on something that you want or something that you have idealized or, a value of yours, you don't feel good afterwards. It doesn't feel good. Like something in you, for me, I feel it in my belly, in my lower belly. I feel like that doesn't feel good for me. It's because you're going against your own self. You're going against these values and these ideals that you've set up for yourself. So of course it's not gonna feel good. Of course, like it's not gonna feel good because it shouldn't feel good. Like regardless of who it is, like I said, we tend to waver when it comes to our family members, our spouses, or our boyfriends, or our intimate partners. We tend to waver and be like, it's him, it's this one time, it's my mom, it's my sibling, it's this one time, I'm gonna do it. You don't want to do that, because then you are teaching yourself to go against your ideals, to go against your values. And even using that example about the grass, about keeping your hedge, you can't expect someone outside of yourself to maintain your own values, to maintain your own ideals. It's almost impossible. So if you're not maintaining, if you're going against yourself to give somebody something that they want, at the end of the day, you'll end up resentful and bitter towards that person. And it's not them you're bitter towards, it's yourself. But you just haven't had the time and the opportunity to reflect enough to see that you're not really resentful towards that person, because that person didn't make you do anything. You're resentful to yourself for not keeping your own word to yourself. Y'all, when I tell you this thing is still kind of dealing with me, it really is still dealing with me, and I'm still processing all that entails this. But I hope that this conversation is helpful to you. I hope that you learned something from it. I hope that you figure out what your ideals are for yourself and maintain them, and realize that you're the only person that can maintain that for yourself. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you in my next video.